Whoa, hello. Hey, everybody. I think I'm live. I think I'm actually live here. It's great to see you. I hate when people start lives where they're like, I'm live. And then I tried to go to a different site. And oh, here's what I want you to know it's the Great College Reset. I'm more focused on wondering what's going on in your life right now. Have you failed a class? Are you struggling making friends? Do you find this whole college thing disappointing? Are you a parent who is struggling because your kid is disappointed? Have expectations not met reality? Are you dealing with difficult professors, roommate issues? Do you not love where you live if you're living on campus? Are you struggling with your major? Where are you having some big questions, and how can you reset? That is what I'm doing. So I want to invite you to the Great College Reset. This is happening on January 14th. If you're watching this after January 14th, you can get access to the Great College Reset by visiting my site, visiting Best First Year. The Great College Reset is a way for you to look back at what happened in the past and to use it to be able to move forward, because there is a method to this, and most of you have been set up to fail, to struggle. You've been set up to struggle. Because most people don't know. It takes time to find your people and places. And it takes planning to have the experience you hope to have. For parents who are thinking, man, this has been such a waste of money. My kid is struggling. I get that. But again, do not blame them, because they might have been taught how to get an A, but they never were taught how to deal with the social, emotional, the physical, the financial, and then the academic changes and challenges that come with navigating this change. So I encourage you and invite you to become a Best First Year member or to sign up for the Great College Reset so you can check this out. If any of you ever have questions, I am here to answer your questions. There's been a lot of relationship questions that have been coming in. Relationships. Do you need a Great College Reset with relationships? Some of you have secret crushes. Are you dealing with long distance partners? It's another one. How do you deal with being away from your long distance partner? These are all things that we can talk about, and things that I've dealt with, and things that I can help you to work through. So I encourage you to join, to check out the Great College Reset. There's a link. Any of you who want to restart, if you are not great at taking risks, if you struggle with rejection, if you focus too much on what other people think, if you aren't great at advocating for yourself, if you don't like talking to your professors, if you struggle talking to people you find interesting and attractive, if you're not great at taking risks, if you don't feel like you have things to look forward to, things to do, and you're in college, this is what the Great College Reset is all about. Most of you are not great at rejection. Most of you are not great at taking risks. And most of you don't know how to navigate change. And that's where so many of you struggle. And that's why I want to help you. Where am I from? I'm from the Chicago area. Thanks for checking in. Hey, if any of you have questions, let me know, because I don't think we've really had a lot of conversation. And there's so many of you who follow me, and I know we're kind of. I do a lot of work on other social media platforms, like on Instagram. I have hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok, and on YouTube. I really don't have as great a relationship with all of you, so I'm really excited to be here. If you don't know, like, really what I do, I've written 7 books. I am an expert not just on college, but change, and I also am great at, dating, relationships, I know, rejection, all those things. Hey, Jack, it's great to see you, and, it's great to meet you. For those of you who are interested, I'm in the Chicago area, and, I am also working on a new book to help people to transition from college to career. So those are things that I can help you with, and have tons of videos, thousands of videos to support you. You could knowledge about the financial market. Do I have knowledge about the financial market? I know a little bit about the financial market, and I'm pretty good at not losing money. That's a pretty good thing. And I also I'm not a big risk taker when it comes to finances. I don't like losing money. Uh, I don't like gambling. So sometimes the financial markets give me that sick feeling in my stomach if I lose. So I don't like to lose. I like to take smaller risks. In the rest of my life, like emotional risks, I'm really good with that. And I have a framework that I've developed that's really helped me to be great at doing that. But when it comes to any decision where there's something at stake, the framework of what do you want? What makes you uncomfortable? People, places, patience holds true. It's what do you want? Well, I want to make money. I don't want to lose money. What makes you uncomfortable? I don't want to deal with the risk. Uh, who can help you? You put yourself in places where you can be surrounded by people, and ultimately, you will be able to connect with the people who can help you. So that's the formula. You're from India. A lot of people from India. Can you hear my dogs? I don't know if you can hear my dogs. Uh, I am very familiar with India. I have a lot of people who reach out to me in India, which is kind of cool. Uh, Not a problem. Someone says, "Is it dangerous that I heard of there are gangs in Chicago?" Chicago is consistently ranked as one of the most beautiful cities, one of the most desirable cities in the world. And there are certain areas where I'm sure where you're from, where you just want to be more careful, but generally it's a safe place. And I go downtown, I do business downtown. We go down on the weekends. Chicago is a magnificent city. I don't know if any of you have actually been here, and if you haven't, I highly encourage it. And you just ask the people, where are some places I should go, and what are some places I should avoid. But I'm a big fan. I have not been to India yet, and I think that would be a really cool thing to do. I have a lot of people from India who follow me on Instagram and on some of my other socials on TikTok. And what I found is a lot of the challenges that so many students struggle with here in the US are also similar challenges that so many people struggle with all over. And it really comes down to this fear of rejection, this fear of taking risks, this low tolerance for outcomes that are unfavorable. And people really struggle with that. And I'm a firm believer that when you can be great at rejection, when you are great at handling adversity, you become unstoppable. You really become unstoppable. But most people, they don't know how to process unwanted feedback. Most people take things personally. And when you're always taking things personally, you don't really listen because you're too busy trying to get people to agree with you or think the way you think. And that doesn't really get you anywhere. When you're great at rejection, then it becomes very easy to listen because everything isn't so personal and you're not so scared to take risks. That's the big challenge. So, if any of you have followed me or seen my videos, a big part of what I do is helping people to align with the things they want, the things they're interested in, and to take risk after risk after risk, knowing you're going to be okay no matter what. And I'll share one more thing with you. If you want to get better at taking risks, whether it's finding a date, whether it's a job, working on a job book right now, whether it's relationships, whether it's grades, whatever it is, at the core, there's a piece that so many of you don't understand. And you've come across it in different forms, but no one's really quite named it the way that I've been able to name it. And it's something I call the law of rejection. And if you're interested in learning more, I have a book called Win or Learn. And the book Win or Learn is based on Nelson Mandela's quote, "I never lose. I always win or learn." And at the core is this law of rejection. The law of rejection says you can do everything right and not always get the outcome you want. You can do everything right and not always get the outcome you want. So if you're somebody who can acknowledge that you can do everything right and not always get the outcome you want, and when you don't get the outcome you want, ask yourself, is it me? Is it someone or something else? Or is it the law of rejection? Maybe a combination of all three. When you can ask yourself those questions and listen, you end up learning because you ask difficult questions of yourself and you don't make excuses. You take ownership and you reflect and you learn and you grow. So that's what I teach at the core. So when you're participating in, the Great College Reset, this program I'm hosting, an event I'm hosting in a couple days, you're going to see this framework that helps you to give yourself permission to want something and to also not feel like you're flawed and defective because you don't get the outcome you want. One of my strengths is I get things wrong again and again and again. but then I get things right. And when I get things wrong several times, I learn why I got them wrong, and I understand the missteps so I can be even more capable and knowledgeable when it comes to getting the results I want. See, being successful and getting, having a high GPA, or, whatever it is we use to distinguish excellence for, people who are, in school. To me, that's like a bunch of hooey. It's like it is a inaccurate way of assessing people's talent and capabilities. It's terribly flawed. For me, it's the ability to be uninhibited and curious, to connect with people who are living the lives you want to live, to be open to learning, to not have to get things right, and to look at life as a experience and experiment. We're experimenting. When you experiment, you don't always get the outcome you want. That's part of change. It's part of doing something new. But most people don't get this, and most people don't understand this. So I'm so excited to be able to share this with you. And the Great College Reset is a wonderful way to be able to look at expectations through a different lens, and to give yourself permission to learn and to make changes and to be kind to yourself. And for parents, it's huge too, because it really helps you to be much more patient and forgiving of your student without feeling like you've done something wrong. Do you think that content creators that are helping the homeless is just for views and likes? So I'm not a big fan of using the word all or everyone. So, and I know you didn't use those words, but I think there are people who genuinely want to help. And I think there are people who genuinely want to help themselves. I think it's really tricky when you're doing something to help people. If you're truly trying to help them, then why do you need to record that? Why do you need to record that? Because what you're doing is uh, exploiting them for your own benefit. So it's a mixed bag. It's like, if that's what you're doing, then are you also doing something off camera? Are you doing things to create change? Is that really what you're doing? And I think that a lot of times people don't they're not doing it because they want to help people more than they want to help themselves. I think that's where it's really hard to distinguish. I mean, I've seen some wonderful videos of people doing wonderful acts of service, but there's a difference between doing acts of service to get other people to do acts of service, and doing acts of service because it benefits you. So, the idea of like, how is this solving a problem when there's something like that is really important, at least to me, when I'm doing something or seeing something where there's someone who is at someone who has less social equity. They're in a place where there's a power differential, and whenever you have someone on camera and there's a big power differential, that becomes something that needs to be really well thought out. And I think that's something where it doesn't always feel good. If you have any questions, I'm going to stick around for another couple seconds here. I'm happy to answer questions. For everybody who subscribes to my channel, I'm so grateful. If you have questions, if there's anything I can help you with, let me know. I appreciate you sharing the comments in the videos. I'm going to be doing a lot more on YouTube. I'm going to try this week to share with you a regular, it's kind of like news and advice. So if you have questions, I'm happy to answer those. Maybe I'll even use this question for my advice show that I'm going to be doing. So cool. All right. For those of you who are just joining, I want to invite you to join the Great College Reset. This is my event I'm hosting this week. You don't have to be in college. You don't even need to be a parent. You could just want to reset. But if you are in college or a parent of a college student, this is going to be a wonderful way to help you to start the year with a plan. And with that, thanks for being here. Thank you for the questions. I will continue to do more of these and be here for you all. I'm excited to be here. All right. Thanks for tuning in.